Hey all, my name is Jacksonation, and if you're here, you are an alchemist and you are recently getting into the Akora TCG and you want to learn how to play. However, there are very few resources out there as of now, one of which is even my own resource. With recent rule changes, my last How to Play Akora in 2023 video is currently outdated. Therefore, I thought it'd be on my best interest to make another one, because I don't need people trying to do something turn one that they cannot do anymore. So, starting off, let's talk about what kind of products you want to be getting, all right? You're into the game, you need cards, don't you? You need cards to play. So, very basic thing, but when you're starting out, you need a theme deck, okay? Now, there's a few different varieties to choose from depending on the set. There's either two or three for every set release, about 6 for Spellbound Wings, the game's very first set. These here are pre-release decks. There's only a handful of these out in the wild, but I needed some tangible examples. So, so try and get your hands on a theme deck for whatever attribute piques your interest. You have electric, fire, water, spirit, divine, dark, nature. There is countless options for you to choose from depending on your playstyle. And the deck I'm going to be covering today is Dark, one of my personal favorites, and one of the mascots of the series is my Akora. So let's talk about what basic premise of the game is, what a deck looks like, various card types, and then let's go over turn. So to start off, the purpose or your point of a game of Akora, right? You play as an alchemist, and using a various series of alchemy cards, you are trying to use attack into your opponent with your Akora and reduce their alchemy essence to 0. Now you start the game with 6,000 alchemy essence. This is basically your life points, and it's how you start the game. So a deck is going to consist of 41 cards, and then you'll have a 9-card Akora deck. Now your Akora deck is going to contain 3 copies of every stage of your Akora. So if we look at our Stage 1 Akora, this is our Kage. It says right there what its stage is, and then its relic cost. In Akora, you have a resource called a relic shard. This is what a relic shard looks like. And at the beginning of your game, you're going to be setting 1 relic shard in your relic zone, right there. That's how you're going to be starting your game. Now, from there, we're going to go on to Stage 2, Zeiss Kage. It has soul points. Every Akora has different varying amounts of health, right? And when you attack into an opponent, the strength of your attack minus their Akora's soul points is what's going to actually get subtracted from their alchemy essence. From there, you have your attack strength down there. And you see this is a Stage 2 and requires 3 relic shards. Now, the thing about relic shards is that it's a checkpoint. You just need to have 3 of these. These aren't being destroyed as cost in order to relic up. Now, the mechanic of relicking up is very simple. When in a game, at any given turn, you reach a certain amount of relic shards. So you start the game with your Akora in the Akora zone. You have your Akora deck face down right over here, and you have your alchemy deck, which is what your main deck is called, right there. Now, when you reach 3 relic shards, you're going to be able to relic up into your next stage of Akora, and you do so by just placing it on top of it. There's a few things that go along with relicking up. First and foremost is that you cannot attack the same turn you relic up, as of new rules for Akora Play Season 4, the 4th competitive season. And the other thing is you can only play one relic shard per turn. So you're going to have to strategically choose how you play your cards. But now that we've gotten that established, let's talk about the different card types. So we've already addressed your relic shards, your basic resource. We're then going to talk about flashes. We're then going to talk about battle zones. And we're going to talk about eternities. But there is also a fifth card type, and these are known as armaments. Now, let me get these spread out here, and we'll discuss what all of these different cards do. So, we are going to start off with our flashes. Flashes are denoted by the lightning bolt symbol at the bottom there. Now, flashes are kind of like your trap cards. They're going to be set in the 4 alchemy zones on the board. You have your Akora zone there. You have your 4 alchemy zones and your battle zone. And we're going to get into all of that in just a moment. So, just like trap cards, your flashes are going to be set face down. So Ancient Calling in this example, when an opponent's Akora attacks, flip this card and negate the attack. So you're going to want to be setting that face down to save for later for a very devastating, destructive attack. Then you have your battle zones. Now, battle zones, they kind of have a different symbol depending on the attribute, but this is the one for the dark attribute known as Grave Cove. When your Akora is so when you play this card, your Akora gains 100 attack power for each dark relic shard you have in play. So from there, once during your turn, you may discard a card and search your alchemy deck for 1 dark relic shard, reveal it, and add it to your hand. So this is a very solid card, and it's going to give your Akora an attack boost for every single relic shard you have, once again rewarding you for having more resources. Now, the other thing about battle zones is that they're permanent unless they're destroyed. And that's going to segue into eternities. Eternities are going to be lingering face up in your alchemy zones unless they're destroyed or, some other, until, said otherwise, right? So, Valley of the Damned, for each damned card in your dark zone, which is basically your discard pile, and that's going to be right over there. Valley of the Damned gives your Akora 100 attack power, but it loses 20 soul points based on the damned cards in the dark zone. And once per game, redirect an attack to this card. And if this card is destroyed, inflict 50 damage to your alchemy essence for each damned card in your dark zone, including this card. You can only have 1 Valley of the Damned active at a time. Now, the thing about eternities, right? Whereas you can have multiple of the same flashes set, you have to have, it's a dark attribute deck, you have to have all dark relic shards. You only have 1 battle zone. The thing about eternities, you can only have, it states it in this card, you can only have 1 of the same eternity out on the board at any given time. So if I play a Valley of the Damned and I get another one in my hand, I cannot play it. And this is, again, a new rule change with Akora's 4th competitive season. That was not the case for last season, which is another reason why I'm making this updated video. From there, we have armaments. Armaments are kind of like your equipped cards. These are going to be linked to your Akora. So if your Akora is destroyed, these are also going to be destroyed. When the equipped Akora attacks, choose 1 dark attribute only Akora's attack in your dark zone and add its attack power to your current attack power till the end of the turn. If this card enters the dark zone, add Demon Gate from your alchemy deck to your hand. So again, this is going to linger on your field, but instead of just being there, it's actually actively tied to your Akora. So, Now that we've gotten a feel for our various card types, let's actually set up the board, shuffle our deck, and let's actually simulate a little bit of a hand. We need to get you guys familiar with how the game is played and what you can expect going into an event. So we're just going to give it a solid shuffle here. Oop, almost got that out of there. All right, this deck was in order, which is why I'm giving it a very thorough shuffle here for this example. But let's see here. What damage can we do? We're going to, we're getting our board set up. So we start off with our 1 Kage and our Relic Shard for the beginning of our match. We're going to offer our deck to our opponent to cut, and we are going to do the same with their deck, and we're going to put it in our deck zone here. From there, we're going to be drawing our starting hand of 5 cards. I don't think I randomized this quite enough, so let's continue to shuffle. But that does remind me of one thing I did miss. All right. And that is what I was talking about earlier with the relic costs of cards. And this is a good example. The card Dark Bidding. You can see there's a number 3 up there in that relic shard symbol. And that means we need to have 3 relic shards out on the board in order to play this card. Otherwise, it cannot be activated. Just a little thing there. So a lot of cards, especially more powerful cards, are going to be having a limitation based on that, right? So just things to keep in mind, and sometimes those are overlooked. So again, guys, reading the card explains the card. It is a very overlooked thing in other trading card games, but you gotta remember to read your cards, because again, you want to be playing a fair game, and you don't want to be doing things you shouldn't be able to. So, let's try this one more time. Let's draw into our starting hand. Let's see. 3, 5. So again, starting hand of 5 cards. Let's see what we got. This isn't too shabby, not too shabby at all. So, we do not get to draw on our first turn, and on our first turn, we also cannot attack. So what are we going to do? Well, we have a Relic Shard, so we're going to be wanting to play that as soon as possible. We are limited to 1 per turn, sort of like mana or energies in the Magic or Pokemon analogy there. We also have 2 different Eternities, both of which gain attack power, or give our Akora attack power based on having damaged cards in the Dark Zone. So we're just actually going to activate both of those. All right. And from there we have a Damned. And when your opponent attacks, you can flip the Damned face up and redirect the attack to this card. And because the card's getting destroyed, it's going to the Dark Zone, thus giving us the attack power for both of those. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to place this face down. And then we can pass the turn to our opponent, and they'll choose to do something similar, and we may even take some damage. But we're going to draw for our next turn. We have another Relic Shard. We can play it, and now we'll be able to Relic up. And now we have a much more powerful form of our Akora, and next turn we'll be able to be attacking for some serious damage. But yeah, hopefully you guys now have a little bit of a feel for how to play the Akora TCG. I hope I could be useful for any new alchemist out there. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the description. You can join the Discord to get some info as well. And also, again, check the Akora website. They have some wonderful resources on there, as well as the official rulebook. And if you have any ruling questions, please feel free to check them out. as well. Also, if you guys want to support the channel financially, please go to the Patreon link in the description. It's just $5 a month and supports any product opened here on the channel. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this sort of thing, I have a lot of other resources for new players, including deck profiles. You can recreate this exact list card for card if you take a look. But yeah, that's going to be all for now. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.